Farmer First to me and what we do as a team here is really figure out what does the farmer want to pay for and what's going to add value for them.
Well, Farmer First to me means that I want that farmer to feel good about his investment. I want him to go home feeling that he purchased a good planter, and that when AGCO says, Farmer First, I'm a believer in that.
You might think a planter's journey starts here today at the factory, but its true origin starts by listening to you, the farmer, and our dealers, and implement that feedback into our innovative designs to meet the needs of your farm. Welcome to Beloit, Kansas. My name is Forrest Francis, and I'm excited to take you on a journey to see how the team here at AGCO manufactures our world-class planters. On today's tour, we're going to see how raw material enters the plant on one end and a complete planter exits on the other. We have a lot of exciting things to show you today, so let's get started.
Welcome to the AGCO Beloit Seeding and Tillage facility here in Beloit, Kansas. My name is Justin Rexroth. I am the Director of Supply Chain and Plant Lead here at the Beloit operation. Farmer First, to me it's really exciting because I think it is a very simplistic view that we can use throughout the facility, and we use it day in and day out. Some of the recent updates and innovation that we've invested in that $7 million, you'll see as Paul walks you through the factory. Paul's done a great job helping us lead this project, and he'll help demonstrate and explain some of the investments we've done. So I hope you enjoy the tour today that you'll have and what you'll learn about our facility and grow some appreciation for the pride that our team comes with every day to work and the pride that we put into our product to build a quality product for the farmer.
We're going to start off with our raw parts or our steel bay. As we can see here, we have a whole bunch of steel. These tubes come in on the truck, 40 foot long. We get steel tubes 10 by 10 by ½ inch thick here. Last year we processed 13.5 million pounds of steel. So the steel behind me, we have about 350 different types of steel tube here. From that, we will take it to our tube lasers and bandsaws, and we create roughly 3,600 unique part numbers varying in different lengths. So we're kind of going to walk and talk here, but as we go on, we'll go over here and look at our plate lasers. We have a total of 7 lasers here in Beloit. The ones we're coming up on right here are Mazaks. We have 4 Mazak lasers and 1 Trump laser that we're installing right now. It's part of our Planter Accelerate program. It's a 24 kilowatt laser. It uses nitrogen as its cutting assist gas. We also have a nitrogen generator here on site too. Part of the recent investment here in Beloit is this new technology here. So this is our Trump 5030 fiber laser. It has 24,000 watts of power. So it allows us to cut steel, thick steel, at an incredible rate of speed. With this laser, we're able to produce this part 11 times faster than our older CO2 lasers. And the key to that cut is our nitrogen generator. Here at Beloit, we're trying to be sustainable, and how we're doing that is with our own nitrogen generator. So what this does is it creates its own nitrogen that we use on our laser that we're purchasing or we're installing right now. The cool thing about this is it only uses compressed air to create nitrogen, and we can keep up and cut at faster speeds with this nitrogen. Over on the other side, our steel processing plant, our steel tube processing, it's done here in these bays here where we have a BLM tube laser, where it cuts tubes for Jackson, Heston, and our local site here in Beloit. This is our jumbo BLM laser here. It's a 2,500 watt laser for cutting large steel tubes. So this tube here actually is for another AGCO site. We'll stay with the fabrication side or the plate laser side here. So as the parts come off the lasers, we'll denest them, and then they'll flow right into our fabrication side. So if the part has any bending or secondary operations on it, we do that right here in-house. So we have a 330-ton Derma press where we can bend ½ inch plate 4 feet wide, no problem with that thing. So once the parts come off the press or off the laser, we kind of stage them here where we'll either put them into our warehouse for small parts weld, or they'll go directly over to our small parts weld. So right behind you here is our small parts weld bay. So as you can see, we have kits lined up here for our different welding bays. We have a total of about 15 weld bays for small parts weld here. So over here in small parts weld, we have 11 robotic weld centers across Beloit. Right here, we're welding up the lower link that we saw earlier for the Momentum Planter. Here at the corresponding robots, we have one robot arm that comes and picks up this whole weld jig that welds up these upper supports. We have two different versions here, a long and a short for the row units. One arm will pick up this whole table here as the other arm comes in here and welds, so make sure it's always at the optimal angle to hold that weld. We strive to try to keep the robot working all the time, and that way the operator can take it a little bit easier and just make sure that the robot's fully loaded. We'll watch out for the forklifts, and we'll start walking down here towards our large weld bay. So over here on this side is where we weld up a lot of the tongues, the main frames, the toolbars, any of the wings and stuff like that for the planters we built here. We have about 40 large weld bays here in Beloit. Kind of see right along here through our curtains, we're welding up some toolbars and some, looks like outer wing for the Momentum Planter. All right, now we're in the large weld bay where we weld up everything from wheel mounts to entire tongue assemblies here. The cool thing is we make all of our tools in-house also. We have our own design and tooling build team here on site. So if anything were to get damaged or needs updated, we have a quick turnaround. As we come up here, one of the big key things we have for us here in Beloit is the quality that we try to build into the product at Beloit. So we're going to come up here and take a look at our laser inspection cell where we make sure that we scan and we actually create a 3D image of all the critical parts that go onto your planter. Behind me you see our laser inspection cell where we actually take our critical weldments and we do an inspection on all of them. Like right here is a wing for our Momentum Planter. We ensure that it is perfectly straight, that there's no missing components before we go to paint. One cool thing that started here in Beloit is we actually have a sister cell like this over in Italy. So Craig here actually went over to Italy with me back in 2017, 2018, and we installed one of these cells over in Italy where they're inspecting parts for the Ideal Combine. So the lower mainframe, the upper mainframe, and the grain bin for the Ideal Combine's inspected on the cell just like this. So after the parts gets inspected and the quality is good, we'll then send it over to our paint line. So behind me is kind of the end hole or the end bay of our paint line. So this is where we'll sit here and paint all of our parts in-house. All right, so now we're in our paint line. Right behind me is where we hang all of our parts. These here are small parts. We also hang large parts. Our carriers can handle 2,200 pounds and up to parts 23 feet long. So one of the first steps of our paint system here is our shot blasters or surface prep. So right over here is where we actually send all of our parts through our shot peen or wheel abrader. I actually have a sample of that here if you want to take a look. So it's just little BBs that we throw at the parts to make sure we got all the surface rust and all the other contaminants off that bare metal to make sure we have the best adhesive or adhesion of paint. So one shot blast, we actually blow the part off and we send it through a wash bay. This one here is getting ready to go through the wash bay right now. All right, so once we get done with the wash bay, we dry them off and then we get ready to send it through our primer and top coat paint. The paint we use here is a two-part epoxy and a urethane top coat. All right, what you see in here right now is our primer paint booth. And you can see they each have a platform that moves back and forth, head up and down to make sure we got complete coverage of the part. All right, so once we're done with the top coat, we then go into our oven. So this oven here has 3 million BTU. Our ambient temperature is around 300 degrees to bake that paint and make sure it's pure before we unload it. All right, so once the parts have cooled off, we unload the parts and we stage them for the assembly line, which is our next stop.
So my favorite part of working at AGCO is it's a smaller operation in a small town, so it is really farmer-centric. Most of the employees here either work on a farm part-time or have farmed or have that experience, so they really care about how these products work for the farmers themselves once they get in the field. Yeah, I mean, we use our own experiences a lot to design the products, and to get those experiences, a lot of them are on our own farms. Like I said, we're all farmers, so we all have a lot of experiences, and our experiences really kind of drive a lot of the design and things that we'd like to see improved on our own machines at home, and kind of implement that.
What does Farmer First mean to you?
We do everything we can to make it as easy as possible for the farmers in the field.
It means making sure that the end user is getting a dependable product, one that's going to meet his expectations, because ultimately, at the end of each day, the season, and the year, he's glad he spent his money.
Farmer First to me means keeping the farmer at the center of everything we do. You know, what is going to be best and most well received by our farmers to help them do what they need to do. You know, even continuing outside of work hours, just what opportunities can we see that farmers might, you know, experience outside of our work responsibilities that we can bring into to help.
When I'm doing something, I always think about, does the farmer really want to pay for that? You know, don't waste time, make sure it's right, get it out the door as quick as we can.
Farmer First to me means that we really, you know, we're real centered around what the needs of the farmer are. So whether it's something, a better application for that farmer, a better product for the farmer, a more cost-effective product for the farmer, some way that they can increase their ROI, and have a better quality product.
Before we get into our assembly line, I want to first call out our material warehouse that we have behind our assembly line here. So you can see the 3 big tires we have back there. That's where we store all of our purchase parts, where we'll come through and we'll kit, or we'll put in parts into tube bend or Kanban system for our assembly operators to pick from. So one of the big investments we did here was also a lot in the material delivery and material handling. So we're focused on increasing our part density in our warehouse, and also in the small part storage system we have here. So what we have here is a tray. We have 50 of them in this machine, and we have 3 of these machines on site. So as you can see, if I was a picker, I know exactly what the part number is, what it is, and exactly where it is at. So it's right here in this bin. I know to pick it out. I know to pick 20 of them, and I get parts ready for the assembly line. The best part about it is I'm no longer walking miles every day. I get to stand right here and pick the parts and put them directly into the bin. All right, so one of the big investments we did here was we created an assembly line for planters. So before we were bay building it, now we have a 6-station assembly line. I'm standing in station 1 where we put the mainframe, tongue, and wheels on the planter. So as we move over here to station 2, we'll start installing some of the inner wings. This one here is an inner wing for a momentum planter. We'll also have a little bit of sub-assemblies also built into our assembly line. So we're coming up on our wheel sub-assembly for the Massey. So the Massey planters get these wheel mounts installed in station 1 and in station 3. So here in station 3, we have a Massey planter. As you noticed, we had a momentum planter before. So we built a mixed model line here to make sure that we can build to your order as it comes in. So station 3 here is where we install the outer wings, outer wing wheels, and some of the hydraulics. So here we are in station 4. This is where we install the rest of the row units on the outer wings of the Massey Ferguson planters. Now, if it was a momentum planter, this is also the station we'd install the CFS. All right, so here in station 5, we install the rest of the vacuum pipes or blower pipes here on the Massey Ferguson planter, and we'll also finish up any hydraulics that we may not have gotten down there in stations 3 or 4. All right, so here in station 6, we install the toolbar on the momentum planters, and we also finish up any of the connections that we may have with that. Seed tubes, hydraulic hoses, and stuff like that for the Delta Force and the seed meters in here. Now on the Massey Ferguson, this is the station we'd install the CFS. All right, so after the unit comes offline on the assembly line, it comes over here to our run-in and inspection bay. So this is a combination of all the processes we just walked through over there in the assembly line, from raw steel to finished product. This is where we come and do a run-in and test of your planter. So we'll test every feature of this planter to ensure everything is functional before we ship it out the door.
As our factory tour comes to a close, I would like to thank you for stopping by. And on behalf of the team here at AGCO, that designs, manufactures, and supports planters. Thank you for your continued support. To make a planter like one of the ones behind me your own, or to learn how it can improve your operations agronomics, please visit your local AGCO dealer and Fendt or MasseyFerguson.com.